Welcome to My Legacy. I'm Martin Luther King III, and together with my wife, Andrea Waters King, and our dear friends Mark and Craig Kilberger, we explore the personal journeys that shape extraordinary lives.
Join us for heartfelt conversations with remarkable guests like David Oyelowo, Mel Robbins, Martin Sheen, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, and Billy Porter.
Listen to My Legacy on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is My Legacy.
Welcome. My name is Paola Pedrosa, a medium and the host of the Ghost Therapy podcast, where it's not just about connecting with deceased loved ones. It's about learning through them and their new perspective. I think God sent me this gift so I can show it to the world. And most of all, I help people every single day. Listen to the Ghost Therapy podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yo, what up? It's your girl, Jess Hilarious, and I think it's time to acknowledge that I'm not just a comedian. It's time to add uncertified therapist to my credentials. Because each and every Wednesday, I'm fixing your mess on Carefully Reckless on the Black Effect Podcast Network. Got problems in your relationship? Come to me. Your best friend acting shady? Come to me. Thought you was the father, but you're not? Come to me. I can't promise I won't judge you, but I can guarantee that I will help you. Listen to Carefully Reckless on the Black Effect Podcast Network, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
What if you asked two different people the same set of questions? Even if the questions are the same, our experiences can lead us to drastically different answers. I'm Minnie Driver, and I set out to explore this idea in my podcast, and now Minnie Questions is returning for another season. We've asked an entirely new set of guests our 7 questions, including Jane Lynch, Delaney Rowe, and Cord Jefferson. Listen to Minnie Questions on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. 7 questions, limitless answers.
Still the Place with Laura Layton,
Courtney Thorne-Smith,
and Daphne Zuniga, an iHeartRadio podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Still the Place. We are back with part 2 of the amazing Heather Locklear. Well, it just got silly because the storylines got so crazy and silly that to argue minutia, it's like, that's your problem?
Right?
Like, that's your problem with the grip.
Well,
like,
when it
things are blowing up,
place
there's
blew up,
scars.
they're like, and you have your phone. You call, and I go, where's my phone? It's in your boot.
Yes, as you normally keep it there.
My thing was always,
Amanda
they would
Woodward.
they're like, can you walk from here to here? Do you need motivation? I'd be like, does it get me home sooner? That's all the motivation I need.
Well, like Josie said, if she had her close-up, she'd do in her sweats to get out even
on the
further.
her clothes home. She wore her clothes home. She literally ran to her car. You just barely see the back of her out the door.
My version of that was I would never sign out. I go, sign out for me, bye. Because it was late. I just remember that. Sign out for me.
Yeah, I did that too. Yeah,
So Heather, Ava, has she ever seen Melrose?
No.
Does she do what their kids say? We know you were big in the 90s, Mom.
Oh, no, she never says that. She's so cute. When she's going to go for her interviews for schools for her doctorate, she says, I go, are you okay? She goes, well, I've got a little anxiety, so this is what I do. And so she crochets and stuff for dog toys. That's so sweet. She's so sweet. And I go, well, remember I said, pick an actress you like and just act like them, like Blake Lively. And she's not getting the best presents.
It's not helping my anxiety, Mom.
So she goes, I'm just going to pretend I'm you.
Oh, sweet.
I go,
To de-escalate her anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
Yeah, I go,
My kid doesn't like to watch it because it's not me. So it's confusing. Like I remember when
it's
his friends were
uncomfortable.
watching 2.5 Men.
Yo.
So he's like, well, I want to see an episode. So we're watching. He starts looking uncomfortable. And I was like, do you not like seeing mommy as a drunken horse, sweetie? It's like, I do not. I was like, why don't we not watch this? But it's confusing, right? Right? So she probably would watch you on Melrose. This bitchy whore. I was a drunken whore. You were a bitchy whore. It's very nice. And not like it.
Well, she likes
because
it.
you're
I'm a
her
whore in
lovely
general.
mom.
She what?
Normally she likes that.
She likes it in general.
She likes
She's a
different
fan.
men.
It apparently calms her down, guys.
She has no anxiety. She goes, that's my mom.
So proud.
So proud of her. Oh, who are you going out with this week? No, she. I don't think she's interested.
No interest.
Yeah,
Exactly.
she
None of
loves
our kids.
Mariska Hargitay. She loves her. S-U-S.
Well, you know,
SVU.
Yeah, she loves every episode that I should say act like her. That might be a little too serious.
But it's consistent with all of our experience. Like none of our kids are interested in watching. It just feels weird.
It's dated, but what's interesting about rewatching it is the fashion is back. Like 10 years ago, it would have been weird, but now some of it's really back in style. Like I'm wearing these ridiculous pleated pants. I want to say, let me tell you from my experience, those pictures aren't going to age well. But Amanda wore really tailored stuff. I think you had a better sense because you'd been working longer, what was flattering on you. Like your first episode. Yeah. And I've got on pleated pants and a big sweater.
Yeah,
I think they were trying to make me look Midwest
frumpy.
and virginal, and you were in this like power suit.
That's what I meant, Midwest and virginal.
I don't think, I would never let anyone put me in that now because it was kind of top heavy. You don't put bottom heavy and top heavy. Like I would never let that happen now. But I think at the time I was like, is it good? Okay.
Me too.
And I
You
walked
just
out.
go with
Whereas
the
you were
character.
probably like, I like this, I don't
Somebody
like
else knows
this.
the story. Okay, do it. Whatever. Heather, when the show was really huge, do you have any memories of like fan interactions, some crazy stuff or anything memorable?
Not really. People were really nice, and they'd call me Heather Lockwood.
Oh, that's cool.
I always get in the airports, Heather Lockwood. No, people were really nice. I remember not really being in the moment. I think we worked so much, and I wasn't really taking it in. Mm-hmm. And so, like, if anything happened like that, I think I'd really enjoy it more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think we worked too much. I think when we'd all go to the upfronts and stuff like that, that was fun. We'd be together at night. That was fun. Yeah. Then you get to see how many people like loved the show. That was crazy. It was crazy and fun.
Do you have a memory of when you first noticed it was a hit? Because to that point, we were working so much out in Santa Clarita.
Yeah, you didn't
we
see
didn't
anyone,
know
and
it
I
was a
live
hit.
far away. Yeah, no, I don't.
Until
Like, didn't we do like Planet Hollywood or Hard Rock Cafe?
we did
like,
do
stuff
that.
like that. Like we did like big appearance things.
Big
that
appearance
were like,
things.
That was fun.
That to me was
out.
mind
the
blowing.
mob,
Like
the
just
fan.
that
was a lot.
was. I mean, it was before cell phones, so we didn't have that sort of regular exposure. or
Right.
whatever. But when we were together and we had those appearances, like whatever that felt
like huge.
Did it feel huge? I mean, it felt huge to me because I was like, it was all new to me.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
like, did it felt huge to you
It did.
too?
I did something like that with Dynasty where I wasn't, it was Joan Collins and Linda Evans and John Forsythe got all the acknowledgments and we were just like on the outskirts. So I wasn't really a part of it, but I watched it and that it was like Melrose Place, but I wasn't really in it. But
was that your first show or first acting ever? Or
I had done
Dynasty?
some
Little things?
little things like 8 is Enough and I don't know.
8
some
is
little
enough.
things.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Yeah. So no, to be a part of this was the first thing.
Yeah, you can't have perspective when you're in it, though. We talk about that a lot, especially now that we're all friends.
Right.
And it's like we were so overworked, we were so tired that you can't step back and say, this is a special time. You're just like, well, this is what I'm doing now. Like I look back and I go, I wish I'd known how special it was to fly on a private jet to the Super Bowl. Like, I guess this is what I do now. And it's like, no, it was like this crazy moment in time.
I wish.
But it all happens at once. You don't get to sort of parse it out. Like, you'd be like, I'd like something like that once a month. Right? But we were so
once a month, I'd like
overwhelmed
to go.
with everything, right? And we were so tired and we were together 14 hours a day. Like you, the Friends cast got together and watched the show. It's like we were working. One of us was working at all times, right? Like we weren't, there was never a
And
time
when it
we all
became
had
double
off.
ups, it was even
More
crazier.
crazier.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
Busy,
crazy.
busy.
That
Meanwhile, everyone's having the Melrose parties and the,
Right.
you know, remember those?
The
Like,
viewing
it
parties,
was
yeah.
huge. Everyone
I
started
went
out-
to some, I think it was, I don't even know, some place in like Hermosa Beach or something like that. And they had a thing that had Melrose Place this and on each table. And I'm like, what?
Oh,
It was great. It was like during the day I went with my friend. And really? You guys have these? I had no idea.
And then they looked at you and they look at the coaster and then they look at you and they're like, wait, she's right here. What? Is that a hologram?
Give her a hamburger and French fries.
Well, everyone
Or
who's
dirty
been here, we've all said the same thing. Like we wish we had sort of better perspective and stuff at the time.
Right.
Like it was so hard to slow
I wonder if
down.
we could have handled it though, being so
If you,
young.
you can't really process
Yeah.
what's happening. There was a Halloween and we were leaving work and we were shooting in October and it was Halloween and somebody from work, I think their costume was going to be Sydney for a Halloween costume.
Wait,
and
from work, from our
I think
from our crew?
like somebody from the crew or something, like they were going to Halloween and they were going to be Sydney. I just remembered feeling like that was so, I didn't understand. It felt really strange.
So they
you
went
know?
in the wardrobe trailer, you're saying, and borrowed
Right?
something
Maybe,
of yours?
or just like, I don't know, it was just not being able to grasp that was
big enough for other
big
people
enough
to know.
to be a costume. You know, it just felt like that's not even enough to be a costume. Like people wouldn't know what you are or who you are or whatever, but
You had no idea.
yeah, like not having that.
We really were in a bubble. Really, in Santa Clarita and...
Yeah, and I think that kept us, like, for how big a hit it was, we stayed really sane. I think the combination of what I said about you coming in as, like, the star of the show and being so down to earth, you set such a good tone, because that was as
But
we
I
were
didn't
taking
walk in
off.
as the star of the show. I walked in as a guest star.
But honestly, I think if you hadn't come in, I'm thinking what a lucky break that was, that it was you.
All of us.
Because, for all of us, but that
Including
it was
me.
you because your attitude, you're so grounded and so lovely. And I think maybe that was a time when egos were starting to sort of tip over. And if we'd become a hit and hadn't had that example of how to be, I think there were a couple people who really would have spun off the rails. But you look like an idiot spinning off the
Why are you
rails.
looking
But
at
the
me?
lead of the show.
Some people that really would have spun
I'm
off.
just saying.
Thank God Heather was there.
Some people,
the picture
Nobody
of
in this
perfect
room, nobody
ego
in this
balance.
room,
and
nobody in this
humility.
room. But I'm thinking there were some people who probably would have spun off, but you just look ridiculous. Like they say that about NYPD Blue. That Dennis France was so lovely and
I worked
grounded
with him.
like you.
You did?
That he
Got
was so
to.
amazing that he sort of kept a lid on everybody.
Did
and
you
it's
work on
true.
that show?
I didn't, but he's another person people talk about like they talk about you, which is just this grounded, lovely, generous person.
He really, I got to work with him, and he was
that's
exactly
great.
that.
What did you? Well, the two of you must have been like a total balanced, nice, kind set. Like,
Just little hearts blowing, love,
Yeah.
rainbows and
Kissing.
moonbeams.
No, and I worked with Peter Strauss. It was
Oh yeah,
in this movie. It was a, what did they call him at that time?
it was a movie of the week.
No, but
or
it was
miniseries.
Miniseries.
Yes.
Yeah. Priscilla. Blah, 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 I don't remember the
Presley?
name. Nope.
Just throwing names out there of the
No.
era.
She was lived in Dallas, and she.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Any storylines that were like crazy out of this, like this is ridiculous kind of thing, or you just went with it?
A lot of them. Okay, this is so funny. I mean, to me, when Michael was looking to hire me for Spin City, this is what he says. He says, and we were talking about it, and he said, how about Heather Locklear? And they go, oh, can she do comedy? Isn't Melrose Place?
Was it comedy? Yeah. Yeah.
And the answer is yes.
Michael J.
Yes.
Fox. Yeah.
Yes,
That's so funny.
yes. It like the blowing up of the building and we're all surviving, I thought was outrageous.
Yeah.
I love the phone in the boot. Where's my phone? In your boot, yeah, of course.
I go,
Okay,
why
great.
am I coming out with my phone when something's going on? And it's in your boot. Yeah, because I go, I didn't come out of the door because then the next thing.
But also, how would your phone work? Did we have cell phones then?
cordless phone, and it wasn't even a
maybe.
cell phone, or was it a cell phone?
Cordless phone was connected to the phone that blew up.
It's all very.
We have to reshoot the scene.
We
Here's
do.
what I think.
I
gonna
agree
need
to
to-
rewatch the
Yeah.
scene. I don't even know.
Appreciate
what
Let's
it's-
do it at Castaic.
For some reason, I think I was going around trying to warn people because Kimberly had tied me up in the laundry room or something, like all this stuff. So whatever.
I can't even
but
wait.
And then she comes out and she pushes the button, and so we're all in various states of.
Yes.
I just remember when they had to go around and shoot close-ups, like you're on the stairs and
yes.
we're on the ground and whatever, and they had crew members like throwing rubble at us, so it looked like. And it was like kind of like cardboard rubble. It wasn't, it wasn't painful.
Like
It
the
wasn't
fireplace
actual
stuff
rubble.
that.
But it was like
That's
hollow
hilarious.
rubble.
Oh my gosh.
We're like, ow.
I think about the shoe, the phone in the shoe, I think because it was maybe the next season. So they ended with it blowing up. And I go, I didn't have a phone in my hand. They go, it's in your boot.
It's in your boot.
When
Yeah.
we started the next
Right.
season.
Conveniently.
Maybe that's when the phones came out.
Gotcha.
Yo, what up? It's your girl, Jess Hilarious, and I think it's time to acknowledge that I'm not just a comedian. It's time to add uncertified therapist to my credentials. Because each and every Wednesday, I'm fixing your mess on Carefully Reckless on the Black Effect Podcast Network. Got problems in your relationship? Come to me. Your best friend acting shady? Come to me. Thinking about cursing that one stank auntie out at the next family gathering? Do it. But come to me before you do, because I cussed all mine out before. You want to fight your coworkers? Come to me. Baby daddy mad because you got a boyfriend? Come to me. Thought you was the father, but you not? Come to me. I can't promise I won't judge you, but I can guarantee that I will help you. As a daughter, a sister, a mother, and an entrepreneur, I've learned a lot in life. So I'm using my own perspective and experiences to help you fix your mess. Send me your situation, and let's fix it as a family. Listen to Carefully Reckless on the Black Effect Podcast Network, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to My Legacy. I'm Martin Luther King III, and together with my wife, Andrea Waters King, and our dear friends Mark and Craig Kilberger, we explore the personal journeys that shape extraordinary lives.
Each week, we'll sit down with inspiring figures like David Oyelowo, Mel Robbins, Martin Sheen, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, and Billy Porter. And their plus one, their ride or die, as they share stories never heard before about their remarkable journey.
Listen to My Legacy on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is My Legacy.
Hey, this is Mel Reid, LPGA Tour winner and 6-time Ladies European Tour winner.
And Kira K. Dixon, NBC Sports reporter and host.
You forgot to say former Miss America, by the way. And we've got a new podcast, Quiet Please, with Mel.
And Kira. We are bringing you spicy takes on sports and pop culture, some golf hacks, and interviews with incredible people who have figured out how to make golf their superpower.
Or just people we like. Plus tales from the road and everything in between. By the way, golf isn't just for the dads, Brads, and Chads.
Yeah, it's actually life's cheat code, and we're not going to be quiet about it on or off the course. We're bringing on some of our friends like Michelle Wee, Heather McMahon, Amanda Baliotis.
So, if you want to keep up with us and hear us yap, tune into our new podcast.
Listen to Quiet Please with Mel and Kira, an iHeart Women's Sports production in partnership with Deep Blue Sports and Entertainment. You can find us on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Presented by Capital One, founding partner of iHeart Women's Sports.
I'm Mary Kay McBrayer, host of the podcast The Greatest True Crime Stories Ever Told. Join me every week as I tell some of the most enthralling true crime stories about women who are not just victims, but heroes or villains, or often somewhere in between. Listen to The Greatest True Crime Stories Ever Told on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you guys remember that? The purses were annoying to them?
Purses were an issue, yeah.
Yeah.
Of where we're going to set it.
Yeah.
They give
and
you a
there was never
choice.
anything in it, so it didn't weigh anything.
Yes. And they always give you a choice. Do you want
this
this one or this one? You know, this one or this one?
You know you won't be carrying sunglasses because we don't own sunglasses
Right.
on Melrose Place.
Super blinding.
You know
There
when
won't be
Laura
that.
came on as Sydney a couple weeks ago, she comes on chewing gum, chain smoking a cigarette, hats. What else? You broke all the rules
I
that
might
we
have
were.
had sunglasses.
No one else smoked in the damn show ever.
No.
When we had our photo shoot for the podcast and we were out at a pool and Daphne pulls out sunglasses, you're like, no sunglasses. We're like, even now? Like, 30 years
Still a
later.
thing.
Let me
I
use
see
my
every other show,
sunglasses.
people are wearing sunglasses throughout the whole scene.
I mean, we're here in LA. This is like a sunglass city. You know?
Right. I
Yeah.
do see a lot of shows with sunglasses. They wear it through the whole scene.
I think more now. You know, there were just plus there were Aaron spelling rules.
Right.
Did you ever come up against
Yeah,
any
you couldn't say
Aaron
one
spelling?
word, couldn't say
Couldn't
and if
alter.
of.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yes.
Nothing different.
Off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you notice your skirts getting shorter because you got some pretty short skirts.
Yeah, I can almost feel my crack.
Wait, while
I'm sitting down.
Oh.
Because it goes up.
Exposed.
Yeah. I go,
You're exposed.
Oh, I think I'm.
So did they see your old granny underwear?
I don't wear granny.
There's a reason why she
Have
would
we
feel
ordered
her crack.
Pantyhose then?
No.
I don't think you wore pantyhose. Did you wear?
We didn't wear pantyhose.
No,
I don't
we did
remember.
not.
I was trying to remember if we
No,
wore pantyhose.
absolutely not. No, you didn't. I'm just telling you, you didn't.
No, you did not. On Dynasty,
You
yes,
wouldn't
but
have let
not on
me. Not on
Melrose.
Dynasty either. No.
Pantyhose, nylons.
Yeah,
But you were
nylons.
You were nominated like for a Golden Globe a couple times for
4
Melrose
times.
Place,
And that's how high the standards were.
Right?
For Golden Globe.
Really got
You got
nominated
four
four
no-
times for
yeah.
Melrose Place?
Really?
Uh-huh. Yeah, she did.
Wow.
Yeah, was it 4?
And then you got 2 for Spin
thought it was
City.
That's a lot. Yeah, and also for Spin City. I mean, like you've had so many wonderful things happen,
Crazy.
and like,
But no Emmys.
Well, we got to do something about that.
I think we got a People's Choice Award at some point,
Oh, we
didn't
did.
yeah,
I
wasn't it like a
did.
We
surf?
were for the people.
There was a surfboard for that. Is that what the surfboard?
surfboard?
Isn't the People's Choice a surfboard?
I don't know.
I
We
don't
weren't.
remember.
Let's
I
just say
don't
we were
know.
not
No,
an
it was a
award-winning
it was a
drama.
glass.
It was a glass.
We were of
Yeah,
the
we did
people
get
for the
people.
people.
Right. Yeah.
Always
Everyone
about
could
the
relate
people.
to us for some bizarre reason.
Because it was a young show. Remember when they had
that's true.
30-something?
Yeah.
And it was
Yes.
so differently written.
Yes.
But this was a 20-something. It was
Yeah.
so nice.
What about Darren? Did he ever talk to you, come to set, talk to you about story things?
I'll tell you, Darren and Grant and I were in New York. I'm wondering if someone else was with this. I think it was just, felt like it was just the three of us. And somehow I heard about the Vault, which is like a sex place. And so I'm like, we got it.
That's not where I was going. And so you went there? The three of you?
I go, we got to go to the
Okay.
Vault. Got to go to the Vault. And so we go, and it's like bankers and stuff like that who get paddled. They go on a stage like where a model would walk, and the guy walks in, and a dominatrix spanks them on the ass as they bend over, deet, deet, deet. And there's one guy who's like no pants on, but a jacket, and he's, you know, when dogs scrape their butt because there's poo-poo on them?
Yes.
The guy's doing that, like scraping.
On
and
a
we're like,
stage?
Oh, wow, that's not on stage.
where
I was just across the room.
This is not what I'm picturing.
Yes.
I can't wait.
It was lovely. And then Grant and I are walking around. Not sure where Darren is at this time. Maybe he's got scooting. I don't know. So he's not scooting. But so Grant and I are looking because there's this people having sex behind this window. And we're like this. And then people are coming up around Grant and I, staring at us, circling us. And we're looking and we're like, we're not them. We're not doing that.
We're not the attraction
They
here.
looked at us like we were going to start taking off our clothes and doing stuff. And we're like, okay, this is so wild.
God.
Yeah.
This
so
is
it's
in
stuff
New
like
York?
that. Mhm. But now it's
Wow.
in a different place. When I moved there for
And when
Spin
you looked
City-
it back up, you're like, I want to go back.
No, so my
So
friends
that
are
was
there.
pre-cell phone camera, right?
Yes,
like now,
yes.
you would get like.
Right.
We're lucky because we were. I mean, I feel very lucky that I was
Yes.
famous in a time when
couldn't put it
you
under their-
weren't watched all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Like
That'd be
Andrew and I,
weird.
when we were dating, we could go out. We could put on a baseball cap and
Yep.
go out. It wasn't this sense
No.
of being on camera all the
Right.
time.
That's really crazy.
Yeah. But it was a pretty mild time
Very,
to have
right?
something like this
Yeah.
hit compared to today. There was no social media. Like
So
we were
glad.
really private out there. We
Yeah.
didn't really, like you say, we
No one
didn't
was
really know. You'd
around
kind of
and-
come into town, people would recognize me. We're like, oh, I guess this little thing I'm doing out in Santa Clarita.
Right.
Something's happening with it.
Yeah.
That trip to the Vault would have definitely made.
That would have
some
been all
headline.
over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have gotten some press.
Yeah.
I remember not at all. I'm not comparing this at all to the Vault story because that is like, woo, I was just wondering if he gave you notes or told you what the next week's script
no.
might be.
We weren't talking that at all.
Okay. No, I just remember during Melrose, I was in an acting class, or maybe just after or just before. Anyway, I was doing this scene, and so I went into. Do you remember that Circus bookstore in Hollywood, in
Yes.
West Hollywood?
Yes.
And in the back, and it was like this. Wasn't it like sex books or something, or a sex shop or something? Anyway, there's a.
On Santa Monica Boulevard?
Yeah, I was doing research for a scene in a very
I'm sure that's
prestigious
what it was,
acting class,
Daphne.
is what I'm trying to get to. But I was recognized at like 12. Right after my class, I got over at 12. I go in there and I was so excited to do some research. And I'm like in there and someone like recognizes me. Oh, aren't you Daphne? And I'm like, oh, it's 1 a.m. and I'm here at the sex store thing. It was you guys don't remember Circus.
I remember
You do.
the marquee. I
Yeah.
never knew what it was,
It was
but
a
I know
weird
there's a
marquee.
marquee.
Laura and I
Circus.
never went in.
No.
Right, Laura?
Very
was,
observant on
it was
from the
interesting.
The
Anyway,
sex toy, sex show people are over there.
Never
Yes, that's
been in
true.
a sex.
oh, it was it was like a
Yeah,
bookstore of
this is
videos or
different.
something.
Yeah, that's a sex store.
But you're noticed. But you're
The
noticed
videos
at the
are-
most awkward time. And I was trying to explain, I'm in this class.
you got the video
and
that's
I'm doing a
X, triple
scene
X.
from, I'm playing Marilyn Monroe. I have to, whatever it was. Anyway, getting
Mr.
recognized at the very.
Daphne's my twin sister.
Yo, what up? It's your girl, Jess Hilarious, and I think it's time to acknowledge that I'm not just a comedian. It's time to add uncertified therapist to my credentials. Because each and every Wednesday, I'm fixing your mess on Carefully Reckless on the Black Effect Podcast Network. Got problems in your relationship? Come to me. Your best friend acting shady? Come to me. Thinking about cursing that one stank auntie out at the next family gathering? Do it. But come to me before you do, because I cussed all mine out before. You want to fight your coworkers? Come to me. Baby daddy mad because you got a boyfriend? Come to me. Thought you was the father, but you not? Come to me. I can't promise I won't judge you, but I can guarantee that I will help you. As a daughter, a sister, a mother, and an entrepreneur, I've learned a lot in life. So I'm using my own perspective and experiences to help you fix your mess. Send me your situation, and let's fix it as a family. Listen to Carefully Reckless on the Black Effect Podcast Network, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to My Legacy. I'm Martin Luther King III, and together with my wife, Andrea Waters King, and our dear friends Mark and Craig Kilberger, we explore the personal journeys that shape extraordinary lives.
Each week, we'll sit down with inspiring figures like David Oyelowo, Mel Robbins, Martin Sheen, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, and Billy Porter. And their plus one, their ride or die, as they share stories never heard before about their remarkable journey.
Listen to My Legacy on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is My Legacy.
Hey, this is Mel Reid, LPGA Tour winner and 6-time Ladies European Tour winner.
And Kira K. Dixon, NBC Sports reporter and host.
You forgot to say former Miss America, by the way. And we've got a new podcast, Quiet Please, with Mel
and Kira. We are bringing you spicy takes on sports and pop culture, some golf hacks, and interviews with incredible people who have figured out how to make golf their superpower.
Or just people we like, plus tales from the road and everything in between. By the way, golf isn't just for the dads, Brads, and Chads.
Yeah, it's actually life's cheat code, and we're not going to be quiet about it on or off the course. We're bringing on some of our friends like Michelle Wee, Heather McMahon, Amanda Baliotis.
So, if you want to keep up with us and hear us yap, tune into our new podcast.
Listen to Quiet Please with Mel and Kira, an iHeart Women's Sports production in partnership with Deep Blue Sports and Entertainment. You can find us on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Presented by Capital One, founding partner of iHeart Women's Sports.
I'm Mary Kay McBrayer, host of the podcast The Greatest True Crime Stories Ever Told. Join me every week as I tell some of the most enthralling true crime stories about women who are not just victims, but heroes or villains, or often somewhere in between. Listen to The Greatest True Crime Stories Ever Told on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
There's one of our fan questions. I love this question. Did you feel pressure to rescue the show from cancellation? Can you imagine if they said that to you?
She didn't even know she was.
Welcome to the show. It's all on you. Yeah. No pressure.
I never felt it was on me.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with me.
I thought you were there for four.
That's what I was there for.
Did you even know that the show was kind of limping along, or you thought they didn't
Courtney,
even tell you?
nobody knew.
They didn't even tell you.
No.
Except for our audience
If it was
who
limping
weren't there,
along, I
apparently.
wouldn't have done it.
Yeah,
I did not know.
No, none of us knew.
We
know
tricked you
Matt
into
knew.
it. We
totally
tricked
tricked
you
Laura,
into
now
it.
we know, right? Now we know very well it was
Actually,
about
she made it
Gore.
go down. That's because you brought her on and we canceled.
Well, the way it's moving so fast in your first 2 episodes, I can't imagine how quickly you turn from.
I know.
But it's probably something about you and Billy, because I keep telling Billy I don't want you guys to date, and you keep asking me if I'm telling you, oh yeah, it's fine, and then I go home and yell at him for doing it. It's very, very confused. Allison needs some therapy.
That's a little manipulation.
It was a little confused manipulation, but you're still, Amanda is still so lovely.
I thought you were
I
very
can't wait
gracious.
to see the turn.
Yeah.
And I don't think I ever
Yeah.
watched the show that much, or obvious clearly, because we didn't have time.
Yeah.
We're studying.
So you don't remember kind of going these, like the scripts that you started to get
No.
to, like, where, wow, I'm causing a fight. Now
No.
I'm being really. And did you ever like go, Jesus, I have to say this? Like some of your one-liners are
You
like.
know, I
real-
was so scared to be in front of people, like when I have to give speeches for about or D&D or whatever, AD&D, what ADD? About D&D, and there's people there and it's like weird speak. It's not normal, like normal people talking.
And you have to be
Right.
such an authority.
Yes, that made me crazy.
So not in your like regular.
No.
Who you
and
are.
then I go,
yeah.
keep rolling, I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Don't
I'll get
cut
this.
and do that. I want to keep. One take, 20 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was it hard to be mean constantly to everyone, to say these sharp things like to Allison?
That wasn't hard at all.
That wasn't hard. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
And then we've talked about like wishing that while we were on the show, we all had sort of better perspective or whatever. But is there anything that you might say to your younger self? Does it bring you back to how old you were and what your mindset was then?
I was 30. I should have known better. I don't know. Like, what's wrong with me?
Well, you look like a young 20-something, beautiful, we're all just so youthful and whatever, just like it feels like another version of ourselves.
Right.
But to her point, is there anything that you would say to your younger self, regardless of how old you were, knowing what you know now and being the age that you are? And
Like the stuff of just being so nervous, or I'd go back to my room and study the lines like I couldn't make a mistake or something like that, like having that
Was it hard? Oh, that's a question I want to ask you. Was it hard to have not only that kind of pressure, but just the pressure of being Amanda, of being Heather, none of that was too much for you or uncomfortable?
I just wanted to be good.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be good the next day and the next day. I was grateful. I was really grateful. But I just wish I had paid attention to what was going on around. And with caring about what you're going through, you're not just being I hope it's okay, or I hope I'm good, or whatever like that. And hope I know my lines. I just like to be more personable with everybody and know their lives rather than just memorize your lines, go home and do this and that, just rather than just thinking about myself.
Well, there was so much to do, 33 episodes a year. It was very intense. And we noticed, as we watched it, so I was on the first episodes and I was beating myself up and they're like, be kinder to yourself. And I was like, I can't wait till you're on camera. Then Daphne beats herself up and Laura beats herself up.
Really?
Did you see? Because I look at everyone else and go, everyone else is doing such a good job. And then I'm so hard on myself. Even 30 years later, I'm beating myself up for choices I made in a scene 30 years later. I'm like, wait, find some layers in this.
Right.
And it's fascinating to see that I've still got that inner critic for that very young woman. It was my first really big job.
Right. Yeah. That felt like my first big job, because I wasn't ever
Did it feel different? Did Melrose Place feel different from your other shows?
Oh, absolutely.
It did.
Yeah. It wasn't as much pressure. That's their job up there.
Oh, yeah, because it was really on you.
Yeah.
This one. Yeah.
I mean, on all of us.
Yeah, but you were on the poster. It was a lot of pressure on you.
Don't make her anxious now, because
she's like,
yeah. Hi, what are my lines? What is the next question?
No, it's all relaxed now.
Yeah, I guess we all felt that way, but I guess there was no time to really form friendships.
Yes, there was no time.
Well, and that's what's so sweet about
There
this,
was no time.
honestly.
Yeah.
That we've gotten so close that we get to bring people in and have these moments and really spend the time.
Yeah.
It's been the sweetest, biggest surprise about this podcast is the reconnecting element. It's so sweet.
Even when we were
good
in
to see you.
Florida,
yeah. That was
so nice.
So nice.
I know. We just talk.
Everyone's just so normal now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're not
exactly. We're not rushing. This is the thing we're doing. This is what I'm doing on Wednesday.
Yeah.
This is it. And
so great. Yeah.
I had time before, I have time after.
I go,
this is
Ava,
the thing
what
I'm
do all
doing.
your friends' parents do? What does Daddy do now? And if we don't have a regular job, she goes, well, Daddy, he kind of does the same thing as you. He eats and exercises and naps and watches TV. And I
Has
go,
a schedule.
Oh, okay. She was like, all my friends' parents do that.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's an
okay.
interesting
Just wanted to
time
know.
of life, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Well,
It's weird.
we adore you so much. We were so excited for you to be coming in. And we know our listeners on the podcast could not wait for this episode to have you.
Good.
We would love to have you come back. Would you like to come and do a recap with us? Would you
Sure.
like to?
The
we would
recaps
love
are
to have
super
you.
What's the
fun.
recap?
Like when we go
watch
through
an
the episode,
episode.
we watch an episode and then we talk about the episode, going through
As we go.
Yes.
And
yes.
that's what's been so fun for us to revisit the episodes. But
Pick an episode where something crazy happens. It would be fun if it was among us something crazy and fighting.
Fun.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Shouldn't be hard.
So it's got to be in between the nap.
right, we'll make it work conveniently in your schedule.
and the nap.
You're
Sometimes
very busy
exercise
schedule.
doesn't.
We'll work around your busy schedule.
Yes, I would love to.
But we
that's all I'm
realized,
really
we used to be referred to as the Bod Squad, and now we're just the Pod Squad.
Oh, I like
Yes, yeah.
that.
Pod
Which
Squad.
it doesn't bother me at all.
It's a lot less pressure
I
to
like
be the
being the
pod
pod
squad.
squad.
It's a
Yeah.
lot less
Yes.
pressure.
And
Often we're at home on Zoom with our dogs. It's a lot less
Love
pressure.
that. Love that.
Heather,
That would be
thank
great.
you so
Thank
much.
you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Heather.
Love
It's
you.
so
Thank
good to
you.
see
It's
you.
great to see you.
We
When are we
just love you.
going to do when's the Pod Squad going to do a Daytona squad again?
I
I know. We
know.
should do that
was
again
fun.
for sure.
Just a girls' weekend.
Yeah.
Squad. Let's do that.
Let's go to the place in Castaic.
And we'll put Courtney in the water.
Yes, we'll put
And we'll
Courtney in the
forget about
water.
We'll give her a life.
You know that all just burned, by the way. So maybe we'll go somewhere else.
Right. Oh my God.
Welcome to My Legacy. I'm Martin Luther King III, and together with my wife, Andrea Waters King, and our dear friends Mark and Craig Kilberger, we explore the personal journeys that shape extraordinary lives.
Join us for heartfelt conversations with remarkable guests like David Oyelowo, Mel Robbins, Martin Sheen, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, and Billy Porter.
Listen to My Legacy on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is My Legacy.
Yo, what up? It's your girl, Jess Hilarious, and I think it's time to acknowledge that I'm not just a comedian. It's time to add uncertified therapist to my credentials. Because each and every Wednesday, I'm fixing your mess on Carefully Reckless on the Black Effect Podcast Network. Got problems in your relationship? Come to me. Your best friend acting shady? Come to me. Thought you was the father, but you're not? Come to me. I can't promise I won't judge you, but I can guarantee that I will help you. Listen to Carefully Reckless on the Black Effect Podcast Network, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome. My name is Paola Pedrosa, a medium and the host of the Ghost Therapy Podcast, where it's not just about connecting with deceased loved ones. It's about learning through them and their new perspective. I think God sent me this gift so I can show it to the world. And most of all, I help people every single day. Listen to the Ghost Therapy Podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
What if you asked two different people the same set of questions? Even if the questions are the same, our experiences can lead us to drastically different answers. I'm Minnie Driver, and I set out to explore this idea in my podcast, and now Minnie Questions is returning for another season. We've asked an entirely new set of guests our 7 questions, including Jane Lynch, Delaney Rowe, and Cord Jefferson. Listen to Minnie Questions on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. 7 questions, limitless answers.